Om. 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 Om Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganasadrisham Tattvamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Satgurum Tam Namami श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ॐ श्रीकृष्ण परमात्मने नमः। अथ श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता त्रयोदशोऽध्यायः क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञविभागयोगः। श्रीभगवानुवाच अमानित्वमदम्भित्वम् अहिंसा क्षान्तिरार्जवम् आचार्योपासनं शौचं स्थैर्यमात्मविनिग्रहः इन्द्रियार्थेषु वैराग्यम् अनहङ्कार एव च जन्म मृत्युजरा व्याधिः दुःखदोषानुदर्शनम् असक्तिरनभिष्वङ्गः पुत्रदारगृहादिषु नित्यं च समचित्तत्वम् इष्टानिष्टोपपत्तिषु मयि चानन्ययोगेन भक्तिरव्यभिचारिणी विविक्तदेशसेवित्वम् अरतिर्जनसंसदि अध्यात्मज्ञाननित्यत्वम् तत्त्वज्ञानार्थदर्शनम् एतज्ज्ञानमिति प्रोक्तम् अज्ञानं यततोऽन्यथा। That's it.
Dear Gurudev, yesterday we stopped, we completed Kshanti. Should I start with Ajava?
Yes, Bella. Yes, Manana.
Thanks. Arjava. Arjava comes from the word Raju, which means straight. When there is an alignment of thought, word, and deed, this is Arjava. The action is in keeping with the word, and the word with the thought. The alignment is in this direction. I need not say or act upon every thought I have, but my actions must be consistent with my words and with my thoughts. I'll read these three sentences. The action is in keeping with Arjava comes from the word Raju, which means straight. When there is an alignment of thought, word, and deed, this is Arjava. The action is in keeping with the word and the word with the thought. The alignment is only in this direction. I need not say or act upon every thought I have, but my actions must be consistent with my words and with my thoughts. This alignment is a value because with it there is a freedom from conflict. Whenever we say one thing and do another, or think one thing and say another, there is a conflict within ourselves, which we call vaktrat, vak, vakratva, vakratva, crookedness. Arjava is its opposite. One aspect of it, Satya, speaking truth, is considered to be such a great value that it is even mentioned in the Upanishads. I expect others to be truthful. I expect others to be truthful to me, and I reciprocate. This is Arjava. Acharyopasana. Acharyopasana is a very important value for a student. The word Acharya means one who himself understands, Swayam Acharati, and makes others understand or follow, Anyan Acharayati. Suppose the teacher says that anger is an enemy to you, and yet he himself gets angry. Then what he says would not carry weight with the student. He must understand what the Shruti says and follow through behavior so that not only by his words but by example he makes others understand and follow. During his period of study, the student resides with the teacher and as an expression of gratitude for the knowledge he is receiving, serves his teacher. This Gurukula Vasa, living in the family of the Guru, implies necessarily sharing whatever work that is there to be done. Let us see why this is a value. This Gurukula Vasa, living in the family of Guru, implies necessary sharing whatever work that is there to be done. Let us see why this is a value. Between the Shruti Pramana and the student is the teacher. He carries the Sampradaya. Excuse me.
Are you okay to read or you need some help, Mrinal?
I am okay to read, but whenever you are free, just come
Yeah,
in.
let you know.
Yeah, yes. Between the Shruti Pramana and the student is the teacher. He carries the Sampradaya. The Shruti is Pramana, and between the Shruti and the student who wants to understand the Shruti is the teacher. He conveys the meaning of the Shruti sentences according to a well established methodology, Sampradaya, and without him, the Shruti cannot be properly understood. In fact, it is said that Jnana without the Guru is never adequate for moksha because it is not the Shruti that conveys, but the Sampradaya. Without it, the Shruti sentences will seem contradictory. The words have to come from a person who sees what he talks, and then alone do they convey the meaning with such clarity that both the person and the words disappear. The meaning alone remains. While reading a book, however, you are operating the intellect as an agent, karta. Yet, it is this very karta that has to be sublated by knowledge. Please do let me know if you want a repeat of any paragraph. Your will is not involved here. In the operation of Shruti Pramana, you are not the karta or even the listener. It operates like the eyes. If they are open and there is adequate light and an object, without will or sense of individuality, you will see the object. There is only the pramana and the object. Will does not enter into it. All the senses operate similarly, and even in inference, once the invariable concomitance is there, the conclusion takes place immediately. If you go outside and find water everywhere, you understand at once that it has rained. This is how a means of knowledge operates. Shruti is also pramana, but it does not really convey unless it is handled by someone who knows the sampradaya. An implicit shraddha keeps the ahankara in check. An implicit trust in the teacher is required because when you are listening with shraddha, your ahankara is under check. If the teacher knows what he is talking about, there is no possibility of him having ahankara. So, there is no interference in the operation of the pramana. Ahankara remains only until you start inquiring. The moment you turn on your attention towards it, it disappears. Uh, can you please mute yourself? I think somebody's unmuted. If the teacher knows what he is talking about, there is no possibility of him having ahankara. So, there is no interference in the operation of the pramana. Ahankara remains only until you start inquiring. The moment you turn your attention towards it, it disappears, like the uninvited guest at a marriage feast. He will last only as long as no one inquires into his identity. The body does not feel, I am the Atma, nor do the sense organs or the mind, all of which are means of knowledge. Atma is pure Chaitanya. So, what is this Ahankara? The moment you start the inquiry, the first casualty is the inquirer. While listening, if the Ahankara does not interfere, the Pramana operates to negate its reality. The capacity to listen like this is established by Shraddha in the Shastra and the teacher that keeps the Ahankara suspended for the time being, which is essential because it has no role to play here. Ahankara has a function only when karma is to be done. But if it interferes here, where it has no role, it vitiates the operation of the pramana. The atmosphere wherein the ahankara can be kept suspended is provided by Shraddha. If the ahankara is operating, we only understand what we already know, not what the pramana has to offer. Shraddha must be cultivated here because this is pramana coming from outside. unlike a pramana that is with you, in which you have an intrinsic shraddha. When you see a form, you do not question the validity of your eyes as the means of knowledge to see. Even if the form you see is distorted, you understand that some correction is required, but still you know that the eyes are the means for seeing. Just because you see a distorted image with your eyes does not mean you will then try to see it with your ears. You have complete Shraddha in your eyes as the means for seeing. Your Shraddha in Vedanta as a pramana is similar to the confidence in the fact that your eyes can see. Since Vedanta is a pramana, in order for it to work, you require exactly as much Shraddha as you have in your eyes. In fact, it goes one step further. Your eyes, even without being defective, can misinterpret situations. They see a blue sky, which is not there at all, or they can fail to see things like microbes due to their own inherent limitations. But Vedanta, because it reveals the Vastu, which is not subject to negation, is a pramana that deserves absolute Shraddha because it is talking about the limitless. It cannot be improved upon, and since it is not reducible to something else, it is not a point of view, while perception is the root pramana, because all the other pramanas depend upon it. Shraddha is considered to be the last, Shabda is considered to be the last pramana, while perception is the root pramana. Because all the other pramanas depend upon it, Shabda is considered to be the last pramana. All the others, I operate, whereas this one comes from outside. If at all there is any I that has listened to the Shastra, it is one that is imbued with Shraddha. The importance of Shraddha cannot be overestimated. Here in the Gita, Krishna makes a bold statement about it. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. The one who has Shraddha gains knowledge. And in the Upanishads, it is said, Acharyavan Purusho Veda. The person who has a teacher knows. One who has a teacher and who has Shraddha in the teacher and in the Shruti cannot fail to know the truth of Shruti. When the Vastu and Pramana are both there with nothing to interfere, when Vastu and Pramana are both there with nothing to interfere, as the knowledge emanates from the teacher, it is just absorbed by the student who is all attention without anxiety or indifference. When the Vastu and Pramana are both there with nothing to interfere, as the knowledge emanates from the teacher, it is just absorbed by student who is all attention without anxiety or indifference. With a love to know and a deep respect for the source of knowledge, he has everything necessary for knowing. This is Acharya Upasana. Literally, it means sitting with the teacher. Upasana is also meditation, wherein the object is kept in view and one remains always connected to it by Shraddha. Upasana is also meditation, wherein The object is kept in view and one remains always connected to it by Shraddha. Respect and love together is Shraddha. If there is a intellectual respect for the teacher's scholarship, but you do not look up to him as a person, or there is love alone and no value for his learning, there is no Shraddha. When there is Shraddha, however, absorption takes place naturally because the Ahankara does not interfere. And to keep the Ahankara suspended, we require Shraddha. The suspending the Ahankara is essential because the whole teaching is meant to falsify Ahankara through the discovery of its own true nature, Swarupa. This is catch 22 situation. Unless the Ahankara is suspended, at least for the time being, there is no knowledge, and unless there is knowledge, there is no elimination of the Ahankara. The problem is circumvented completely by introducing Shraddha that keeps Ahankara under check so that it does not interfere with the operation of the Pramana and knowledge just takes place. Afterwards, you find that Ahankara is not there in reality, that it is mithya. Shaucha, internal and external. Shaucha means cleanliness or purity internally and externally. External cleanliness begins with the external environment, your dwelling place, physical body, and clothes. Every day they gather dirt and therefore have to be cleaned. Anything that is used becomes dirty, whether it is a car, your body, clothes, or a vessel. Since the mind is also being used constantly, it is also subject to asaucha. But while it is a simple matter to keep the body, etc., clean, with varieties of cleaning agents, how are we to achieve inner cleanliness? First, let us see what is inner asaucha. Generally, this is anything that is not liked by you or by others. Anger, greed, selfishness, hatefulness, and so on. The mind that is exposed to various experiences naturally gathers some of these things. How do you clean it? Gain of a inner saucha is through prayer. One way is through prayer. Any prayer that is meaningful to you and is done with the sorry, any prayer that is meaningful to you and is done with the express intent of being freed from all the things that cause pain to yourself and others, like jealousy, dishonesty, miserliness, etc., is purifying. One that is commonly done in India is to repeat after bathing while taking 3 sips of water: Achyutaya Namaha, Anantaya Namaha, Govindaya Namaha. Salutations to Achyuta, the Lord who never wanes, who does not undergo any change. Unto that Lord who is eternal, my salutations. Salutations to Ananta, the one who has no end, who is limitless and appears in the form of the entire creation. How do we know he is Achyuta and Ananta? By words of Shastra, and therefore salutations to the Lord who is known through words Govinda. Another prayer is Om Bhuha, Om Bhuvaha, Om Suvaha, Om Mahaha, Om Janaha, Om Tapaha, Om Satyam, Om Tat Savitur Varenyam, Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. As you repeat this mentally, you breathe in through one nostril and out through the other, generally 10 times. This is called pranayama. It brings about a certain quietude and cleanliness of the mind. Pratipaksha bhavana. Another method to remove jealousy, hatred, and various other painful emotions is to bring in their opposite, pratipaksha bhavana. Suppose you feel hatred towards a person and want to be free from that, then you deliberately cultivate a liking for him. The problem is when you hate someone, how can you like him? Try to see what it is about the person that you hate. His nose, his eyes. You will find that there are a lot of things about him which you do not hate. Even in terms of behavior, you will find that only a certain behavior invokes your hatred. Then, if you go one step further, why should you hate behavior? You may say that it is wrong and that you do not know how to handle it. But that does not mean you have to hate it, much less the person that has it. A person is not a particular behavior. If you say something hurtful while dreaming or in the delirium, it is not fair to draw a set of conclusions about you based on that. Generally, you can question whether an action was appropriate or not, but not always. This analysis of our behavior can be useful, but more often it is a nuisance because it leads to self criticism. Generally, you can question whether an action was appropriate or not, but not always. This analysis of our behavior can be useful, but more often it is a nuisance because it leads to self criticism. In different degrees, everyone has critical thoughts about himself or herself. How do you manage them? First, bring in the opposite. Find out the features, find out the features in yourself which are definitely appreciable. Be kind to yourself. This self criticism is a habit developed in childhood, and like any habit, especially a habit of thinking, it is a die hard. We have to learn how to be kind to ourselves, and because we have been taught to be hurtful to ourselves, it does not help. How kind you can be to yourself can be very nicely appreciated. If you see your responses when you hurt your hand, first you will cry out from the pain, but when you are so tender and caring to your own fingers, sorry, when you hurt your hand, uh, it does not help. How kind you can be to yourself can be very nicely appreciated if you see your responses when you hurt your hand. First, you will cry out from the pain, but then you are so tender and caring to your own fingers. This is exactly how your mind has to be to your own patterns of thinking. Being critical is inimical to your psychological well being. So, you remove that by its opposite. Because a habit dies hard, I must understand that it is a habit and not condemn myself on the basis of it. I initiate a process of introducing the opposite in order to remove the habit. It is not easy, but it has to be done. This is inner cleanliness.
Can we just break here for a while and just recapitulate all that we have done? I think from Arjavam downwards.
Yeah.
We did Arjavam, Acharyopasanam,
Mhm.
and Shaucham, isn't it? These three.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Arjavam is where your thought, word, and deed are in sync. It is not like you think something and then you do something. That classic example that Swamiji gives is getting up in the morning. You tell yourself before you sleep that you'll get up at such a time. And when the alarm goes, instead of getting up, you shut the alarm and go to sleep. So that is a total discordance of, there is a lack of arjavam there. Yeah, anyone wants to share? I think if each one of us formulates one sentence of what we understand by arjavam, what we understand by acharyopasanam, this will help retain this and help us learn and cultivate these qualities.
Yeah. It's walk the talk.
Walk the talk, right?
Because these days, if you have seen, hardly people would express what they really think. It's all sweet talk whenever we meet people. Even somebody might be praising, but somewhere inside the things are different. It's very important. And once or twice, when you meet such a person, and when you know that person is talking, he's not walking the talk, or he's not saying what he means, then you start distrusting that person. And for yourself also, like that conflict won't be there. You'll be free from the conflict if that alignment is not there, thought, word, and deed.
Jai Gurudev. Uh, this Arjava quality is like in raising the children, while like if you have that quality Arjavam, then it is like you are giving an example, following it yourself, then it is, first disciplining ourselves, then the child will automatically get disciplined. So it is that lackness that that we ourselves do not have that discipline. That is why the children, because we say we don't spend much time on phone, don't do this, don't do that, but is it that are we following everything? So parenting task is a very difficult task, that it needs so much of sacrifices and discipline, it's along with it. So this reading this today, it was like, though I caught up with the class a little late, but This arjvam quality, I related to it with parenting. Yeah.
Yeah, Didi, beautifully said. And like Ashvam, for me, like it's a promise to yourself, like self-discipline and keeping that promise. That is important. Sometimes, most of the time, sometimes, like the example Brahmara Didi gave, it mostly happens 5 minutes more, 5 minutes more when we are getting up at times. So I think we should keep that promise, and that will, that is what is Arjavam, and I think I'll work more upon it.
While following Arjavam is important, the Veda also says, with respect to giving your opinion about another person, Satyam Vada, Priyam Vada. Na Satyam, yeah. So whatever we say, correct, it's good to be straightforward, but we also have to be Priyam Vada. Isn't it? So this is again a pointer for us, because there are some people who are very blunt and rude sometimes. You don't need to do sweet talk, but at the same time, you don't need also to be rude and harsh. So whatever you say it in a nice way. Even if you're criticizing, it has to be given in a Priyam Vada.
Yeah.
And Acharyopasanam um, is an antidote to Ahankara, where you empty your cup and come to the master, because the jnana is there, but the connecting link between the jnana and you as a jiva is the acharya, is the guru. So therefore, come to him with that humility, emptying your cup with complete shraddha in the shabda pramana, because the pramana is there. The link between the pramana and you is the guru. And having that implicit shraddha will bring down the ahankara, so that there is that beautiful transfer of knowledge from the teacher to you. And then that Shabda Pramana ultimately also will dissolving the Ahankara, that little bit of Ahankara that's there. So then that you can, you recognize your true self then. So Acharyopasanam is so important, where we sit without feverishness, without indifference. Which is also very true for some of all those of us who are teachers, whether or not art of living teachers, but whether you're saying anything to anyone, it all depends on your state of knowledge. Even the guru, if guru of course will be without that ahankara, but you notice there are some teachers who may have that I-ness, I'm doing it, I am. The ahankara is in front, the knowledge does not get transferred. People sitting out there would not experience the transformation as much. So it is so important to drop that doership and just sit in that space of non-doership, where the knowledge flows easily. You're just the conduit. Yeah, be kind to yourself and not be harsh. That is coming to, anyone wants to talk about Acharya Upasana before we go to Shaucha?
Yeah, because just now Savitaji was saying that children follow what you do, and if you take mother as a teacher, first teacher, uh, like whatever, like it says, suppose the teacher says that anger is an enemy to you, and yet himself gets angry, then what he says does not carry weight. Same with mother, if she's not following what she's teaching the child, then it may not carry that much of weight. And so that not only his words, but example he gives others understand and follow. The child will follow then. Yeah, here also it can be. And to circumvent the ahankara, shraddha is needed. And I keep missing out that part.
Shraddha again is not blind belief. Shraddha is belief pending inquiry. So you believe the words of the master, you believe the words of the Upanishads or the Shastra, and you're doing your own vichara, you're doing your own self-inquiry. But pending that, and the result of Shraddha is that you experience or see what you believe.
What is the difference between blind faith and shraddha?
Blind faith is where you don't use your intellect. There is no viveka, there's no vichara. Whereas with Shraddha, there is that element, there is bhakti there is devotion there. There is that faith in whatever the master is saying or whatever the Shastra is saying. You believe it, but you're not taking it on face value. You are doing your own sincere efforts to understand it. That vichara is there. Like what is happening right now when you have Shravana is you're listening with that element of faith, but you're also doing manana, you're also reflecting upon it, you're analyzing it. So that element of manana will be absent with respect to blind belief. Most of the you know sects over there, religious sects, it's just blind belief. There is no inquiry. If you look at all the Upanishads, they're all beautiful examples of the teacher taught. The student comes with a sincere question, and then the teacher is giving the answer. So there is a lot of that inquiry already ingrained in that, in Shraddha.
So blind faith, it is like a dead end. You don't inquire further. And shraddha, you have that mm, small window where you can inquire, still keep inquiring. Is that
Yeah.
so? Yeah.
Yes.
Because I was, when you were talking like this, I was just thinking like Maya cannot be, not understood. Like as I told earlier, I feel that this is a dead end now. I have to have belief in this and then, understand the further things which are explained. This was what I was feeling, and I was not very comfortable with that. But then, when there is a Shraddha, like now that thing has been clear to me, that still I though I don't know yet, and I know this is not will not be explained by anybody, then I was feeling stuck over there. But with this knowledge and all, we can still keep inquiring about it. Maybe one day we might have answer to this.
Can we discuss this ahankara a bit? Here, the ahankara is the sattvic ahankara, no? The ahankara which is needed to know ourselves. That if everyone can say a bit of like this sattvic ahankara, which is needed because it is when you relate, when you say I, so that I comes from the background of ahankara. Because after that atma, the first notion that you have is because of that I-ness you have is because of that ahankara. So So that I-ness is necessary, because only if you have that ahankara, you will be able to like you will be able to relate yourself and work up further on this journey. That I'm not getting clear because short of words, but it is like the ahankara, which this small ahankara which is needed to differentiate ourselves from that anatma part. So if anyone can further explain this ahankara, there's every line is so important in this, but it has to be like elaborated further, I think.
What comes to my mind just now is blind faith is like if a cat crosses your path, then you don't move forward. You turn in reverse, you turn around and go away. There are so many such beliefs that we have. Nobody has tested them out, but you will not step over a limbu and mirchi which you find thrown on a road, or you will not squash it. You will move around it and go. All these things are there. So I think that would be blind faith, where nobody has tested it out. There is nothing written about it, but we just follow it. If a person sneezes just before going out, his job will not get done. All these things are said in family life, and so like people will not. If they sneeze, then the person who's going out will not go out for some time, and that I feel would be something like blind faith.
Also, Gurudev gives an example of Havan happening for Shraddha. Like somebody may come and sit in that where the Havans and Homas are happening, although the person doesn't know about it, anything about it, what they are saying, what is the meaning, but still inside they can feel the difference. And with that, they develop that quality or that sense of Shraddha. Uh, that is what I heard in a talk.
And I think regards to Savitaji's question, maybe these few lines might help you. The words have to come from a person, I mean, to understand the Shruti. Um, in fact, it is said that Jnana without Guru is never adequate for moksha, because it is not the Shruti that conveys, but the Sampradaya. Without it, Shruti sentences will be contradictory. The words have to come from a person who sees what he talks. So there is no ego over there. And then alone do they convey the meaning with such clarity that both the person and the words disappear. The meaning alone remains. So there is no I over here. Even the person, that could be I, and the words also disappear. Only the meaning remains.
This sentence, no, regarding the ahankara, the moment, what is this ahankara? Swamiji says, the moment you start the inquiry, the first casualty is the inquirer. So that inquirer is that I, that first ahankara. So that the moment you start inquiring is, I think, that about that atma and anatma part, no, the atma. We are gaining knowledge about Atma. So if we are inquiring about that Atma, then the first casuality is the inquirer. So that inquirer is the anatma part, no? That ahankara belongs to the anatma part.
Correct.
So that is the first layer of that first avaran, we can say, that is ahankara, because everything starts from I, from like
Because of
you
the
always
ajnana,
relate yourself.
small I is there.
Yeah, we
Because of
relate ourselves to like my body, my sense, my everything. So that first I should be there. Then only you can. So it is sattvic ahankara, I think, is important in this way, that until unless there is not that little ahankara, then you will not be able to go on this path and differentiate things easily. So this is he further says, no, while listening, if the ahankara does not interfere, the pramana operates to negate its reality. And that keeps the ahankara.
Sorry.
Yeah.
When we are listening or something, we have our own perceptions and judgments. So if that ahankara is not there and we are listening only to the knowledge and thinking it is the correct because it is coming from the guru, then there is no I. Then you will receive that knowledge. So the first ahankara is gone there. What Brahmaraji said, you have to come empty ball. Only then you will get that. So if you think I am listening, I have this opinion about this sentence and all, then that will not imbibed, that knowledge will not get absorbed into you, because you have your own opinions. You will perceive it differently.
Yeah, this is true. To gain knowledge, you have to have shraddha and you have to drop that I. Until unless you don't drop, you will not gain that knowledge.
We talk of prayerful listening, right, in our happiness course. So when we're listening to knowledge, it should come from that prayerful listening.
And even we are, when asking the question in the Bhagavad Gita, only we have learned pariprashnena sevita, means you should ask that with honor, then only the answer will come. How Brahmaraji said in the previous earlier, if you are not coming empty handed, even if you are sitting in front of the guru, you will not get that knowledge.
And also, like you rightly pointed out, the questions, if the questions are coming up from a space of really wanting to know, that sincerity is there, it's different. But if the questions are coming from, oh, I want to show off that I have also this question. And it depends, no? We know, as we know where, what space the question is coming from. If it is coming from that ego sense, that has a different flavor altogether. But whereas sincere questions, and no wonder Gurudev does not answer everybody who, he doesn't give a chance to everyone, right? So there are some whose questions are not answered, so to say. Maybe they're steeped in a lot of that ego. I want to speak. So that feverishness is also there. So I think where you drop all of that, then your knowledge flows. And Shaucham is not just external cleanliness, also inner cleanliness. Before we go to Shaucham, regarding Dr. Savita, your thing about that ahankara, I think I was just looking back at the who am I that we learned from Ramana Maharshi's thing. I think that will be a good there's a good opportunity to go and revise that once, to get answers to that lesha avidya. That little bit of ahankara is still there to differentiate and to continue to exist in this physical body. Otherwise, even if that is not there, you would not be taking care of this physical body. No, and you rightly pointed out, it is the very thin covering still there that is important for existence, important for existing and continuing living in this physical body till the prarabdha leaves. That is why even Mahatmas have that lesha vidya, little bit of, which is why even Ramana Maharshi, he is apparently, when they found him from that cave where he went in to meditate, his skin was all maggot ridden, it was all eaten up by insects. So his guru actually had to put him back into the body sense. And that happens with that lesha vidya, which is that little bit of ahankara is there. So external cleanliness. Yeah.
One question I have, like if then why do we say that little leash of ahankara has to be gone, only then you will get moksha, or like get enlightened? So why Brahmrishi Raman did not wasn't allowed to go further, like in his journey? Like it is said, no, that now just now you said also that that leash of ahankara is to be there, but why it should be there when one wants to get enlightened? Why isn't he allowed to drop? Because
Maybe it's because of his prarabdha karma, no? He has to exhaust his prarabdha. And maybe because of that, and maybe because if he had just, see, if all enlightened masters just disappear, who will be there to teach the rest of us? So remember those three prarabdhas. One is ichha prarabdha, svecha prarabdha, and parecha prarabdha. So I think probably because of that, maybe it's an interplay of that. No?
Okay.
There are some
Right.
enlightened masters who just disappear, who just, are in samadhi, and that's it. There is no transfer of knowledge. There is no that Guru Shishya Parampara, that Sampradaya has to be kept alive. That's why Gurudev says in some part, once he said, it is only the courageous that will come down and then transfer this knowledge. So probably it's because of that.
So it takes a lot of courage to transcend down, reaching that height, and then again stepping down. It's of course it needs courage, lot of courage. Yeah.
There are, I think Renuji has posted in the chat. Would you mind reading, Ramlaji? Hello, am I audible here?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was muted.
Okay.
So that putting down ourselves is also amounts to inner ashaucha. So in order to have that shaucha, you have to be kind to yourself, like you're kind to others. It's so important to be kind to ourselves, not be harsh. Very important.
Yeah, for inner saucha, two things were recommended. That was, one is prayer, uh, and the other one was pratipaksha bhavana. Is that
There are
so?
actually three things. One is prayer, second is
Uh,
pranayama, and the third
Sorry,
is pratipaksha bhavana.
what is second one?
Pranayama.
Hmm.
Remember, he said, Om Bhu Bhuvaha
Yeah.
Ogum Suvaha. When you do pranayama, also it
Hmm.
creates that inner shaucha.
Hmm.
And of course, pratipaksha bhavana,
Hmm.
which is why now, all those processes that Gurudev has included in the, including, I mean, even in art excel, we have this praising and scolding process. With so much of insight, he's brought in all of them. See, unless we are kind to ourselves, which is why that praising process is where you look at your, it is part of the pratipaksha bhavana. You look at your own virtues, like you look at your uh, weaknesses, you also look at your strengths, and then arrive at that balance, that equipoise. And then you surrender everything. It is not your doing, it is the creator who's done it. So that way you are relieving yourself. That's exactly what Dr. Renu has mentioned. You are not so critical about yourself. Sometimes we are critical about others and of ourselves. I can relate very much to this because being a perfectionist, perfectionists expect a lot of perfection from others as well as from themselves. They're angry with others and they're angry with themselves also. So this will relieve that anger. And then you're kind to yourself, being kind, self-care, inner self-care. Nice.
The example of finger was really beautiful. How to take care of our mind the same way as we take care of our finger if it gets hurt or burnt, maybe.
Yes,
With so
yes.
much love, we see to it, and then care about it, could apply something, That's how we have to care about ourselves as well.
Sosha is physically, mentally, and in our speech, all the three dimensions.
Rinal, are you able to read a little bit for another 5 minutes? Maybe we can do another one.
Yeah.
Let me know if you're able to.
Yeah. Sthairya should. This is where we stopped, right?
Sthairya, we'll have to do Sthairya.
Okay.
Unless anyone else wants to share about Shaucha and the others, otherwise we'll continue with Sthairya.
Doctor. Hello, Dr. Chandra.
Yes, Dr. Renu.
This is my all the years, all my life. I have been so critical of myself, that I need to improve in this, that. But this was take home point from me, that not to be so critical of yourself. And that is the best I took out of today's meeting. It's very important not to be always critical, be self-critical.
Yeah. No, I think it's okay to analyze yourself, but not to be harsh on ourselves. That is it. See, without that little bit of self-appraisal, it's difficult to evolve, right? You'll just be living life just like wherever the wind takes you, you'll go. There is no discipline coming into your life. So a little bit of self-appraisal is good, but not to be so bound by it. I mean, the example that just came to me was you're just tying yourself so tightly because of your critical self criticism that you're not feeling that freedom within. That inner shaucha is not there. Inner shaucha is where you can feel free inside. It is clean. There is no, you're not tying yourself down because of your uh, you're being so harsh on yourself. Then I'm always like this. I am self blame, basically relieving yourself of that self blame. It's okay. You're not. You're not. You're not. We are not saints already. We are all work in progress. So it's okay if sometimes you've lost your temper, or you don't know something that your colleague knows, and then that's what happened to me a couple of days ago when one of my colleagues. Of course, she's very well read. She does a lot of research in Cochrane and things like that. So when there was a discussion, I felt a little small. Who said, "Oh, I didn't know this for so long. It has been there, and I didn't know it." And that smallness went on eating into my head, and it affected my functioning. I was wondering. Then I realized now that that was not inner shaucha because I kept feeling small about it. If at that time, if I'd said yes, I don't know it, it's okay. Now I have known, I know this now. And then if I'd moved on, it would not have eaten up into my mind space. So accepting yourself, again, it comes back to self-acceptance, that kshanti, accepting others and accepting yourself. As we are kind to others, we have to be very kind to ourselves as well.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
go through it every day.
Mm.
And with
But
this regard,
regarding the habits, regarding the habits which Swamiji has mentioned, that you have to initiate a process so that you remove those habits. So it is only when you analyze that you have this type of habit and it is not at all in a like you, it is not in a positive direction, rather. So you will have to, at that moment you will have to condemn yourself, isn't it? So it is not always that uh, you have to first analyze and then
And
improve.
yeah,
Otherwise you will not improve yourself, no?
no doubt about it. But I don't think it's self-condemnation. I will maybe word it differently. Is you're realizing it. It's out of understanding. You're not denouncing yourself. You're understanding, oh, this is the nature of the mind. This is where it is coming from. Maybe some past habit, maybe some food that I ate. This is what is happening. So let me, that uddhared atmanatmanam. So befriend your mind by yourself. Lift yourself by yourself. So I think
Yeah.
out of that understanding, rather than condemning yourself and being very critical and harsh, out of understanding, like how you, like that example given, that how you take care of that burnt finger with that love and care. That, I think that is important.
Don't condemn. Gurudev says when you realize
Yeah,
yourself that the problem is there, you are
right,
out of, you are right.
correct,
That time you are out of it and you will have
exactly.
options.
Mm.
and
It's
somewhere
like
it says that
how a thin cloth, silk cloth, or very thin cloth falls on a bush of thorns, how delicately we remove it without it getting torn. So I think that is how we need to handle our own mind as well. And not with one whiplash. Whiplashes may not work.
and here it has been said like a person is not a particular behavior, so we too are. And on regards to this our discussion just now, I'll just read few lines again. This analysis of our behavior can be useful, but more often it is a nuisance because it leads to self criticism. In different degrees, everyone has critical thoughts about himself or herself. How do we manage them? First, bring in opposite. Find out the features in yourself which are definitely appreciable. Be kind to yourself.
Actually, also in this, there is that element of Shraddha also that comes up. To have faith that you will overcome your weaknesses, and you just can't continue. So all of this actually is like once you start following one, the others start coming in.
A few days back, Gurudev said, have you known how many times you have gone through such conditions? It is not a first time. So you have come out of it. So this time also you will come out of it.
Yeah. Should we read one more Stairya and then stop today?
Yeah, sure. Sthairya. Sthairium is commented upon in two different ways. Shankara says it is steadiness in one's commitment to the pursuit of moksha. By analysis of varieties of purusharthas, a person who has sthairya has arrived at a well ascertained conclusion that moksha is the only thing that is important for him. He has discerned the human problem and has determined that this is what he needs. It is a definite conclusion, which is not shaken by anything. Such a person is likely to become a Swami because sannyasa is nothing but this determination. You declare to yourself and the world that moksha alone is what you want. The mind behind that has what is called sthairya, steadfastness. He may do 100 different things, but behind it all, his pursuit is not in any way compromised. Everything is for moksha. That is called sthairya. Another meaning for sthairya would be commitment to one's own duties. However difficult it is, I do the things that is proper. This is one aspect of Karma Yoga, our conformity to Dharma, the other aspect being our attitude towards Karma Phala. In Karma Yoga, we use karma not to fulfill but to neutralize raga dvesha. This is another meaning for sthairya. Once I establish moksha as the thing to be accomplished, I will do everything else necessary for that, and sthairya, in terms of karma, naturally comes into the picture. Sthairya is the ascertainment that moksha is the thing I want, and the steadiness in what is what makes my life into yoga. Once my commitment is clear, anything I do towards it becomes yoga.
Is this the um,
Yeah.
end of Stairya, right?
Yeah.
Then nothing Atma Vinigraha is the next.
Yeah.
Okay,
Should I
that's it.
read? Oh.
No, I think maybe we can discuss Thairya and then close for today.
Yeah.
So two aspects of Thairya is one is getting ascertained into the moksha purushartha, commitment towards moksha. And the second is also commitment to your own duty. That is karma yoga. Whatever you have to do, you do it with that commitment. And I think Swamiji has also brought in the aspect of karma phala, right? Can you just repeat that one last one, Manana?
Yeah. Another meaning for sthairya would be commitment to one's own duties. However difficult it is, I do the thing that is proper. This is one aspect of karma yoga, our conformity to dharma, the other aspect being our attitude towards karma phala. In karma yoga, we use karma not to fulfill but to neutralize raga dvesha. This is another meaning for sthairya. Once I establish moksha as the thing to be accomplished, I will do everything else necessary for that, and sthairya in terms of karma naturally comes into the picture. Sthairya is the ascertainment that moksha is the thing I want, and the steadiness in that is what makes my life into yoga. Once my commitment is clear, anything I do towards it becomes yoga.
Can you read this better again, please?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Another meaning for sthairya would be commitment to one's own duties. However difficult it is, I do the thing that is proper. This is one aspect of karma yoga, our conformity to dharma. The other aspect being the attitude towards karma phala. In karma yoga, we use karma not to fulfill but to neutralize raga dvesha. This is another meaning for sthairya. Once I establish moksha as the thing to be accomplished, I will do everything else necessary for that, and sthairya in terms of karma naturally comes into the picture. Sthairya is the ascertainment that moksha is the thing I want, and the steadiness in that is what makes my life into yoga. Once my commitment is clear, anything I do towards it becomes yoga.
Dr. Javda, can you explain this last line? Is it the regular karma or only karma for moksha?
See, karma yoga is karma yoga for moksha, right? A person becomes a karma yogi. Who is a karma yogi? The one who recognizes Ishvara and who does everything with that bhavana of Ishvararpana buddhi, and takes whatever comes as prasada buddhi. Here, he is getting rid of his raga dveshas, but he is also pursuing knowledge. So he is on the moksha marga, isn't it? So this thairya is both. That is what he is mentioning here. Thairya is single-pointed commitment towards the moksha marga. But for a karma yogi, see, for a sannyasi, that is why Bhagwan said there are two, lifestyles, committed lifestyles. One is of a sannyasi, where he does pursue only knowledge. Whereas for all of us who are householders, karma yogis, there is this path, and this thairya is required even here. isn't it?
Yeah, that's what
So-
I mean. That in our day-to-day karmic duties,
Yes.
that also is not only the one for moksha. So
No,
this
no.
is, I got confused.
No. Karma yoga is also towards moksha only, isn't it? Karma yoga is also, a karma yogi is also pursuing moksha marga, except that he's doing whatever he's supposed to do.
Yes,
Arjuna was also pursuing. Krishna has given him the whole Bhagavad Gita. He's showing him the Shreyas Marga, Shreyo Marga. He's saying, do your karma, because that is what is required of you right now. You're a Kshatriya, you have to do it. Plus, he's giving him all the knowledge. So it's not like he's saying, Moksha Marga for you is just go to Rishikesh. No. So for all of us who've taken up these different jobs, careers, whatever, even a housewife, homemaker, we all have our set of duties. That is our Kurukshetra, like Rajima says. So in your Kurukshetra, you do your job, whatever has to be done, taking care that you're not being compelled by your raga dveshas. So do what is to be done as a karma yogi. That requires thairya.
yeah. So
So
that's
often in our
also
relationships, we say, oh, if I say this, maybe he will be hurt. And that hurt, I will actually be hurt. So we don't say things, isn't it? We keep them inside. Again, that is lack of arjavam. We have some opinion of someone, but we don't express it because of fear of losing that relationship. So that requires thairyam in order to even mention that.
Thank you.
So this is, of course, Tairya, a karma yogi is, of course, on the path of moksha.
Thanks.
In fact, someone said a karma yogi, in fact, has the fastest. In fact, a householder has all the opportunity to uh, to scale higher and achieve moksha much more than anyone else, because he has a field of activity where he can use all this knowledge and put it to use. See, all this we are learning now, it is not just for this 1.5 hours, no? We have to apply all of this in our day-to-day life, bring it to our awareness. And all that is considered as Shastra Kripa, Guru Kripa, Atma Kripa. So that is the grace that we all have to pray for.
I have a question. I feel that I'm walking on the path and I'm in knowledge also, but that yearning for moksha is not there in me. Like when here it was said that the ultimate of the idea is yearning for moksha. I'm happy the way I am. I'm not even, that is not there also at the back of my mind that I should get moksha.
Because you are already liberated.
Someone asked a question to Gurudev, is there a chance to become enlightened? Gurudev said, you are that only, so why you will feel for that कि मुझे चाहिए. You are already connected to the source. तो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी को भी बल्ब को भी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बनना, क्योंकि इलेक्ट्रिसिटी है इसलिए बल्ब भी है. बल्ब में ऑलरेडी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी है, तो यू आर ऑलरेडी सोर्स, एवरीवन.
What I feel moksha is while living, you attain moksha when you develop all these qualities in you, and you have that samatva feeling, that sambhavna with everyone you have, that you feel connected, and that inner peace you have, I think that is equivalent to moksha only. You don't have any longings, your antakarna is clean, and you have the same feeling as you feel for your own this thing you have for everyone. That samatva bhavna, when you do seva, that the expansion which you feel, that is I think moksha is not that you will have that some type of grading would be done and you will be staged on a particular platform. It is not that. It is just that your soul is liberated in a way that the whole nature or the whole universe, cosmos, you seem to merge into that, and it will only happen when our antakarna is clean and we have this connectivity feeling with everyone, not differentiating the living, non-living, animal, human, nothing. We will develop sameness with all. That is moksha, according to my analysis. Yeah.
Reading this part on the area, I was feeling that there is some drawback or limitation that I have which I need to overcome because I don't feel that yearning. That's why I expressed it.
You already have that expansion feeling. You do so much of seva and you get connected with people very easily. That is why you already have that. Why would you require? This is the expansion of the soul which you already have. So you don't require it. It is only when we are confined to our own, like that small I keeps on coming. I want this, I want that. Until unless that is not um, removed or with knowledge, we'll still have that feeling of the small I will still persist. So it is I think with seva, a lot of things gets improved automatically. Seva is very important part of spiritual path, I think.
Yeah, and particularly when we were reading about Shanti, I kept remembering Persiji because that is what he had been telling all throughout, like accept people as they are. And yeah, I had been thinking about Persiji whenever we were reading these points because he kept repeating those earlier, the same thing. And he follows those.
The more the antakarna is clean, no, the more spontaneous and that sahajta comes. You are very spontaneous with everyone, with all the nature. I think it is that boundaries we have ourselves made. It is just because of that ignorance. Still, so many of avran are there, relations and relating to everything. One line I did not follow in this theria, the second paragraph, 476 page. Swamiji says another meaning for theria would be commitment to one's own duties, however difficult it is. I do the thing that is proper, that is, you follow what is according to dharma. So this is one aspect of karma yoga, our conformity to dharma. Other aspect being our attitude towards the karma phala. So what is this attitude of karma phala that we Is it like it doesn't relate to
Prasada buddhi is like
what did you say?
how we prasada buddhi. That
Okay.
is whatever the result, we accept it. No.
Okay. So
That
it
is
is
in
accepting the result, whatever it is.
correct.
Okay. Right.
That is it.
I missed this point. I did not follow what Swamiji wants to convey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. You are right.
No, I think he's giving it the sthairya that he's talked of is for both the sannyasis as well as the karma yogis. And it is not a feverishness for moksha. It is not feverishness, but it's a commitment. You're committed to the knowledge. You're committed to knowing what is the truth. So, having that samatva bhavana with everyone that comes out of seva is very nice. But there is also one step further. That is getting that knowledge. I think that happens only with the grace of. So I think Percy G is in that space where he just has to wait patiently. That's all. He's not feverish about it, but at the same time, has to have that infinite, and he has that infinite patience, which is why he has no feverishness about it. But again, he's committed to the path. He is there. That is why he's coming every day, isn't it? That is why he's there. So that is the
Prabhuji,
yoga
I
that
have
Swamiji is
question.
talking about.
Brahmaraji, I have a question. Somebody said ki if these attitudes or qualities have only, then that will be the moksha. But some saints have anger or some cravings, because for the body, whatever we say, no, for that I-ness, that small I, we need some cravings or something is there. So isn't it that all moksha who have achieved moksha has some qualities also? If there will not be they will not be devoid of anger total. What do you say about it?
Let people have. No, why are we bothered? Why are we labeling? That is why Swamiji, I think, has mentioned it once. Who are we to judge whether a person is enlightened or not? And if he is enlightened, why is he behaving like that or not? Here we are to understand ourselves, to evolve ourselves. Are we here to point out at others? No, right? Or judge others? Doesn't matter. He may be enlightened, he's still having a craving for gulab jamun. That does not make him less enlightened. So I think we should come from a broader perspective of acceptance, of accommodating everyone, and understand also that is why this thairya is important. Our at all our attempts and all that is for what? Towards our commitment is towards the path. We are not sitting in judgment of anyone here. Isn't it?
Correct.
So it is okay. Doesn't matter. So what? That thought came to your mind. Let it be. Let it be. And with this understanding, let it go also. It will not disturb us. Otherwise, there is this constant question in our mind. Oh, he's supposed to be enlightened. How can he do this? How is he drinking tea, coffee? These small little doubts keep reeling in our mind. Not required at all. Let people be. Doesn't matter. We are here for our evolution. This whole knowledge is about us. It is about you. It's about me. I don't know whether it got answered.
Showing anger, it is sometimes necessary for an enlightened master, because the crime you have committed may be so heinous that he needs to intervene. Otherwise, they say the Devi's crop will fall on you. So rather than the Devi punish you with a sharap, the Guru intervenes. And then, his anger, he has just shown anger. He has not been angry. But because of his intervening in the process, the Devi steps back. She does not give a shrap to you. Otherwise, that would have been. This happened with a Yuvacharya who was carrying a Devi photograph, a photo frame from Gurudev's house to, and we were going on the steps of the ashram, and by mistake that Yuvachara slipped and the frame fell. It was a very, means from time immemorial, it has been in Gurudev's family. So Gurudev showed so much of anger that fellow was literally shivering. And then every day Guruji would hug him during the meeting in the preparation for the Navratri and all that. And then we asked him, कि गुरुदेव ऐसे तो हम पे गुस्सा करते तो अच्छा होता, like you are giving so many hugs and all that. If we don't mind you getting angry with us also. He said, no, at that time, had I not intervened, Devi's shrap would have fallen on him. This has been in my family from great grandfather like that time. So he would have been cursed. Rather than that, I intervened. So then the Devi did not step in. She stepped back. So I saved him from being cursed by shrap. That is, I mean, every instance, then we cannot keep on analyzing. They do things at certain times for our good only, you must take it that way.
Thank you, Percy.
And I would bring to your attention these few lines over here. This has been said about all the attitudes and values which we have read earlier. These attitudes and values which make the antakarana mature are jnana, because with them knowledge is possible. So these values and attitudes are for us to get the knowledge, but they do not make a person free. Now Bhagwan points out the real means for moksha. So next we will be reading those. Someone just mentioned that these are for moksha. These are not for moksha. These are for our to mature antakarna. And these are called jnana also. And yes, we were talking about the anger part.
Actually, I didn't mean that it is for moksha. I said that until unless these values and attributes you do not inculcate in yourself, you will not attain moksha. These are all the preparations which have to be done. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, it is on the background, like it's on that is the preparation you have to do to attain that moksha. Yeah, maybe I conveyed it in a different fashion, that it meant that it is for moksha, but it is the preparation that to clean that antakarana. Yeah. Sorry if I made a wrong statement.
No.
Yeah.
Very quickly, I would take everybody's advice over here. With this anger thing, yesterday, after long time, I was really very angry with my mother, who has gone through a lot of health issues and two supra major surgeries, and she's fine now. But now she's back to normal, in the sense, uh, working. She's been working. It's a good thing. We appreciate that. But her body is now old. She had been saying that, I used to work like a tigress. But I said the tigress has become old now. It's become fragile. You have to take care of that. But she won't listen, and without telling me, she would work very hard, like with the Navratri at home, and guests coming at home, and she has been working relentlessly, and without taking much of rest and all. So now she's having a lot of trouble with her back and legs, and again they have to go through MRI. So yesterday, though I was telling her every day, she has not been following what my brother and myself, we are telling. uh, I know she should keep herself busy and not thinking about her illness, but she's not taking enough care about her health. This is what we felt. And I was very angry. And then maybe my words were little harsh and all. And I started feeling very bad later on. And my brother also said, you read so much of spirituality, and why you are getting angry and also. So that question kept popping in my mind. uh, when whatever we are reading, it's being getting waste and all. What do you say about this? Maybe.
I say the awareness has already dawned on you. That is the first step to success. That you are aware that you got angry when you shouldn't have been so angry.
See, I remember how Percy ji spoke to his son about how he should cut down on eating outside, how he sat him down and got him explained to him. So maybe if you can sit down your mother and tell her, I understand. I'm facing the same thing with my mother. I think she should not be doing this, this, and this. But she has that enthusiasm within. She wants to do. She wants to do everything. So I had an instance where even I was very upset with her. But then I realized getting upset is not the way out. No, she has to understand. So giving her some freedom to do, you can maybe chalk out saying, yes, this, and this you do. But the other heavy stuff, please avoid. There are others who can do it. Because if you fall sick, then everybody else also will be affected, things like that. So maybe out of understanding, your mother will be able to, and you give her some freedom. Don't just tell her blanket thing that don't do anything. That becomes very difficult for them. They
Absolutely.
cannot just sit, isn't
Correct.
it? So give her that
Absolutely.
leverage to decide what are the things she can do, and out of understanding, when it comes, then probably then she will start looking at herself and saying, okay, this maybe I can let go. My daughter tells me the same thing. She says, Amma, can you just not do anything? Why are you doing so much? Can you just sit and not do anything? When I actually looked at that, I realized, yes, it is like there is inner wiring that you have to constantly keep doing, and there is no end to doing. Take your kitchen, for example. You finish whatever, there'll be something else to do, something else to do. It goes on and on, unless we put our full stops and commas. So let your mother see that perspective, and let
Yes,
her be.
this has been, over the months, we have been very patiently telling her, it's not that we just, it's, we were overwhelmed because now again she has to go through x-rays, the MRIs. So, that pushed us. I mean, we allow her to do things like she's very finicky about her room cleaned and, her plate and her everything in the house needs to be spick and span, and she puts an effort towards keeping it clean and nice, the whole house. Then I said, okay, you like the cleanliness. Now that you are weak, need not do the whole household things. They others will take care of it. They have their standard of cleanliness. Let them follow that. Now you want that cleanliness. Maybe you can keep your plate and your glass and whatever you need clean, can keep that cleanliness. And maybe you like bedsheet changed or very often, do that, but don't take care of the whole house. But she is so enthusiastic, as you said. I think the earlier generation was they didn't care much for themselves. But now when she has to go through this trouble again, MRI, the doctor, we were little overwhelmed, and then I lost really my patience. This is what happened. But
Maybe,
I felt guilty
Mrinal,
about it.
when we grow up to that age, then we'll understand. Maybe we
I
don't
think so.
understand them.
I think
We
so.
may not be different from how they are right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
So I think you just have to put your shoes in her, and then some
Yeah,
things you let go, some things you tell, educate, and ignore,
that's
and
right.
just pray. No,
Mm,
that's it.
true. Thank you.
One thing
But
I
you speak
wanted
to
to
her
share.
again, and then, of course, you may have already done that. You can say you didn't mean it, this was the intention. So she doesn't feel bad inside.
One
Thank
thing
you.
I wanted to share, that question like Mrinal ji asked, like when anyone questions your spirituality, you, like it happens with me also sometimes, then deep inside you get hurt, and it is that then you realize that you still have to work up upon yourself,
That's
so
true.
that those reactions they minimize. So it is also important in our journey that someone show us the mirror every time.
Correct.
So, yeah, it happens with me also. They start questioning you do meditations, you do this and that, but still you are nowhere. So you come to square one, and then at that time you start analyzing what mistake you have done, what you have to improve, and it is just like showing you the mirror, no, on what things you have to work upon and how you have to. It is like, they are they are grading you. They are making stages for you, as if they are judging us every time, and not the common people. We are only judged when we react. Nobody judge other people. They only judge us. So it is happening quite often, and it is just like for us to not to take in a mean way. We have to uh, learn from that, I think. Every
Correct.
time it is happening, so you have to be less reactive, and have a rational thinking. Try to have a rational thinking and learn from every incident how you have to deal with it.
Correct.
Yeah.
And when you were talking about this stage, and see, people who are into action will be judged and will be talked of, will be criticized. A person who is just a spectator may not get any kind of this kind of treatment. But since I'm acting on the stage, all the eyes are on me, and I am acting. I'm doing my karma over here. So people have all the audience is looking at me. So I need to act it to my perfection. I need to give it 100%.
I think we'll close here today. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishnarpanamastu.